Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's stream with me, Forte07. We are back with some more of our lovely Pokemon Nuzlocke, because you know it's been going spectacularly. So yes, the train wreck as normal. Danny, we don't. I don't know what's gonna happen to us. I'm trying to be optimistic, but at this point it feels moot. We're still kind of grinding. That's pretty much the state we're in with what we have. All we can do right now really is grind, because unfortunately we don't have a lot of options when it comes to catching Pokemon. I'm also just going to put out a disclaimer. If you guys hear background noise, my dishwasher is going and I have the door open because it's a lovely day. I don't know how sensitive my mic's going to be. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. But that might be what you guys hear in the background, if anything. I figured I'd get some fresh air today. I went out for a bike ride earlier, so I did get some, fresh air already. But it was actually quite nice. When I was riding back, I could hear a sound in the distance, and it took me a while to recognize it, but it's very distinctly the sound of the high school marching band's drumline practicing, because across the street from my apartment complex is actually a high school. And then down the road is like an elementary school. I know there's at least 2 schools within the near vicinity. Okay, that was probably redundant. In the vicinity. But yeah, I could hear the drumline practicing. And a while there, they might have stopped for the night, because I could hear it echoing off the other buildings in the apartment complex. And it just brought back a little bit of nostalgia, if you would. Because I was in marching band for all 4 years in high school. I was in band in general for 7 years. Because the high school I went to was so small. Our marching band and concert bands are the same thing. Marching in the fall, concert in the winter. We were allowed to start as early as 5th grade. And that's when I started playing flute, so it was just kind of nice hearing the marching band. I almost thought about riding over there to see if I could watch them practice, but I didn't want to be a creep, and I probably would have ended up just sitting there and forgetting that I had to be back by a certain time. So I didn't. It'd be cool to see what that particular school's show is, I guess, though. I do like watching marching bands. Also, hopefully there's not as many dropped frames, stuttering. I don't get the encoding error as often, because I did change some of the settings on this computer. But I'm gonna try to not bring too much attention to it. Yeah, maybe the new malware will save us. I don't know. I'm very nervous about this run right now. Like I said, right now we're just basically training, because we cannot take too many risks with our current team. It would be bad news bears. And I know I said that I would do one more attempt at this at the Nuzlocke with a Mudkip run. But honestly, I'd like to not have to start all the way over. Cause I don't wanna. It would take fucking forever. It's like I'm determined to get this to work, but I just don't know how well that's going to go with how things have been so far. He might be, the new Mel might be useful in the upcoming gym with fire types. It's just that Flannery has a new Mel and a Camerupt herself. So the ground weaknesses that they would have are negated. So that's kind of a problem. Just a teeny tiny itsy bitsy little one anyway. And like I said, I'm pretty sure we have some Team Aqua / Magma stuff to deal with coming up soon. I don't remember the story all that well. I think if you lose this run, I think the penalty should be you're not allowed to catch another Pokemon for the rest of the run if you don't want to start over. What? That might be straightforward, but for some reason I'm not getting what you're saying, Dan. And Danny. And Danny boy. Sorry. Like I said, worst comes to worst, we just abandon the entire Nuzlocke format and play through it normally, but that was only if we couldn't get attempt 3 to work. Was my plan. Speaking of plans, Monday, because we finished up Soma early and then resorted to playing some Overwatch poorly, I might add. I said I didn't have a plan for what to do. And I've come up with a solution. I should have it somewhere on the other computer. I don't know where exactly it is. I'm pretty sure I downloaded it on there. I don't think it's on Steam. I'll have to give it a look later. Is that I can finally sit down and play, what is it called? Not Undertale, Deltarune. I've been meaning to play it forever since it came out and just have not had the time to sit down and spend with it. And I would like to play it. So I'm thinking that we will start Deltarune on Friday. And then afterwards, if we want to, you just said you don't feel like starting over from the start if every Pokemon dies. So if that happens, you have to beat the game with every Pokemon you have in your PC without catching another Pokemon. Oh, I see. We could do that. This would turn everything into like a pseudo Nuzlocke, I guess. Now some of the stuff that we have on the PC isn't terrible, and I could work with it probably. But starting over from scratch, just thinking about it makes me tired. It makes me want to go take a nap. I really don't know where Deltarune is on this other computer. I know I said I would look for it later, but now I'm pretty sure I downloaded it. I thought, after it came out. Worst comes to worst, I just have to download it again. And I put it over here. I swear I downloaded it. Unless I made that up somehow. I might just re-download Deltarune on the other computer while we're sitting here. But yeah, I figured we'd start Deltarune. It should be fun to run through it. And afterwards, I think people said the first chapter of Deltarune is about 5 hours or so, depending on how long you you spend on it with some of the harder bosses, from my understanding. But after Deltarune, we could always do an actual playthrough of Undertale. Again, I did record an LP. Yeah, I'm just gonna re-download it. If I have a redundant copy, I'll just delete it later, I guess. Survey. But yeah, I did record an LP for Undertale at one point, but for reasons I'm pretty sure I deleted the files, which sounds silly. But for reasons that playthrough, even though I had started uploading it, I deleted it definitely off my YouTube channel. That will never see the light of day. Mainly because I played through it with my ex, and I'm not giving him a platform. I refuse. And of course, sitting down and editing it would be too painful for me. I'm not doing that. Just no. I'll just be blunt about the entire situation. That's why that run will... You're never gonna see it. So we could always do a playthrough of Undertale on the stream. I've heard people say that it's a bit easier to watch people stream it than it is to watch an LP of it, just because of just because of all the chit-chattiness in it. Whatever, I just re-downloaded it, it's no big deal. And because they're not technically sequels or anything of each other, Deltarune and Undertale, playing them out of order, if you will, won't be a big deal. So that's kind of what I'm feeling for the next games in the docket for the stream is Deltarune then Undertale. Another game that I really do want to play, I've mentioned it before, is Deadly Premonition. That one's definitely going to be a long-form game because I want to do everything in it. And it's on my mind again because I started watching Super Best Friends play it. So that will probably come later. I was also thinking about actually playing Sonic Adventure 2 because it's Sonic Adventure 2. And we're going to probably do a deep dive with that. Now what I mean with deep dive is, you know, try and 180 emblem it on stream just for funsies. It'd be probably really repetitive and boring. But also, during the story mode, if you like quit out of a level after a cutscene and then you go back in the first time you clear story mode, all the characters have like little, you know, intro things, you know, explaining the story. And you only get to see them that one time on that save file, is if you like exit out of a level after a cutscene. And then you go back in, and then the character tries to, you know, get you up to speed with what's going on with the story. I figured we go through the story mode really slowly, and after every fucking level, we just exit out of it, go in, listen to them talk, and then actually do the level. Just for completion's sake. And it's been a while since I've seen any of them, because normally when I play through the story, I just go through the story. I don't need to quit out of it. But I thought that would just be interesting to do a whole revisit to that game. Also, because it's Sonic Adventure 2 and I'm biased. Yeah, you gotta get all the good, yummy Sonic lore. Listen to the voice acted last time. Basically, it's the last time on Dragon Ball Z, except the characters are telling you what happened last time. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So that's kind of one thing I do want to do. Of course, all of that is long form stuff. I mean, most games nowadays aren't very short form anyway. So whatever. That's another thing you might hear. I thought I turned it down, but you might hear I still have the Deadly Premonition Let's Play running in the background. The cat's under my desk, so it's not on for her. I don't know. I like seeing the TV on, like something moving in my peripherals behind me. It just makes me feel a bit better. I don't know. It's one of those weird things with like living alone or whatever. You just want like the extra noise or something. We could get Numel up to level 33. Was it 33 evolved at? Why was I thinking, I keep thinking 38, and that just would take fucking forever. Everything takes forever in this because I suck at Pokemon Emerald, apparently. Oops, sorry, kitty. I'm sorry! I didn't mean to bump you with my foot! He does evolve at level 33. We could get him up to level 33. Having him evolve would make him a bit more useful. He's the only thing that we can evolve right now anyway. Fipple doesn't evolve, and Shedinja is already evolved, so, well, he's whatever he is. So, yeah, that can be the goal of the stream, is to get Numel evolved. I suppose. It's actually kind of funny. My mom called me the other day. I have to go there tomorrow to help move some stuff around again. She's trying to get the house cleaned up before my dad gets home, which is fine. She does it all the time whenever he comes home from work, but also she just has more space to work with. My room there is basically being turned into an office, and the conversion into an office started pretty much a few days after I moved out. I'm not surprised. I'm a little bit surprised that my mom jumped on it so fast. But yeah, she asked me to come help move some stuff tomorrow. But yeah, she called the other day and she's like, "Dude, I heard on the news there was a Yes, Ninjask is dead. Paraf is dead. I'm sorry. But yeah, my mom's like, yeah, I heard on the news there was a Fortnite thing. Like, some kid, he was like 16, 17, won like $3 million playing Fortnite. I'm like, yep, that's a thing, Mom. It's like, I've only played it an hour. I played it one time on stream, and this was forever ago when it was starting to get big. Couldn't get into it. She's like, she was like, yeah, he plays like 10, 12 hours a day. I was like, yeah, I kind of have to do that for esports things. I just don't have the time or the patience for it. And like I said, well, it would depend on what it is. If I had the patience to sit down and do that much for it. It's like, I'll sit down and not get any work done because I decided to play Breath of the Wild again. Well, I won't say again. I finally got all the shrines in my current save file, and right now, because the collector's edition, I'm pretty sure it's in the regular edition too, I don't remember, but the strategy guide, or whatever I got for it, it has a map that has all 999, I'm pretty sure that's how many there are, Korok seeds in their locations, so I'm gonna go through and get all the Korok seeds, because I'm an idiot. I have 120 right now. Not even close. But it's like, I'll sit around and do absolutely nothing in terms of productivity because I'm just gonna run around and collect shit in Breath of the Wild. The last couple of hours were spent farming shit off of the dragons. I don't have the tolerance to play FPS. It depends on the FPS for me. When it comes to Fortnite, I don't like the Battle Royale setup, personally. I get too anxious. Like, in that setting, it's like I'd like to just hide in an area and wait for everyone else to kill themselves. But because of the nature of, at least Fortnite, with the store moving into a smaller area, that means you constantly have to be on the move. And because I'm constantly on the move and I don't know where the fuck people are and I'm really shit at killing people and I do find them, I'm constantly running around, like looking over my shoulder, just like an anxious fucking mess. And even when I'm doing that, there's a 95% chance I'm just going to get, you know, sniped from halfway across the map by someone I didn't see. And like I can get down to like the bottom 25, bottom 20, maybe bottom 10 just by avoiding people, but eventually you have to deal with people in that game, and I just don't feel like dealing with people in that game. So it's like if you go back and you watch like the VOD of that stream, it's like it's just me freaking out. Not really freaking out, it's just like I don't have the skill for FPS or the patience for turn-based RPGs. I don't mind like turn-based RPGs. I mean, I guess Pokemon's technically a turn-based RPG. I don't know. I'm trying to think like what kinds of games I don't really care for. Now, I don't mind first-person shooters. One of the first games that I got into, of course, which I unfortunately avoid because, again, of reasons, is Team Fortress 2. So it's like I like first-person shooters, and there's a lot of like single-player ones that I definitely like. You know, like the BioShock series. Team-based ones, I don't mind multiplayer online games. It's just so many of them seem to hinge on that nowadays, and I just don't have the patience to deal with people. I don't want to play with other people. Which makes me feel bad, because it's like I like MMOs, and I feel a little bit bad when I have certain friends that want me to play with them. It's like, oh, okay. I have one friend couple. It's like they wanted me to get into WoW, and all they wanted to do was raid. So they just like they nagged me about getting up to raiding level. It's like, listen, you guys have been playing for years, and you've had the chance to experience the story and get a feel for the world. I have not. Can you let me just wander around and actually do these quests? I know you've probably done them 80 bazillion times because you have like 10 bazillion characters that you've leveled up because you can. But I just want to play the game and get a feel of the world, please. And it's like, when they first got me playing, they were on Alliance. Got me up to raiding level, but then when I went in to raids with them, because I was so low level, I just sat in the back while they killed everything. It's like, this isn't fun. I don't care if I get good items out of it. I am so bored. Can I please go back to where I was to do my quests? Please, I beg of you. Because again, you have to remember, whenever I talk about like the Fallout series or Skyrim, it's like I just love running around doing the side quests, not having to deal with other people or other things if I don't want to. And with my friends in the MMO, with World of Warcraft, it's like, yeah, let's go raid. It's like, I don't want to raid. It's always the same dungeon and I can't do anything because I'm too low level. Please just leave me alone. I just need to go kill 15 things over here, please. I beg of you. It's like, give me a little bit of time to get acclimated to the world, and then I'll go raid with you. I promise. I just need some time. It never happens, because recently they got me back into it. It was during the new expansion for WoW. They're like, oh yeah, come on back. That and my cousin, I think, had gotten back into it or something. Anyway, I got back into it for a little bit. Well, they had switched back to the Horde, and I'm like, oh. They're like, yeah, you're gonna start a new character so we can get you back up to raid level. It's like, I already did this once and I don't want to raid. I just want to run around. Please, just let me run around. No. And like the boyfriend of the group, he was complaining that the quest I was doing in the certain areas took too long, blah blah blah. It's like, can you stop rushing me, please? Because it also doesn't help. They've been playing so long, they have like legacy items or whatever that give them more experience anyway for playing as long as they have. So they level up faster than me anyway. And it's like, oh, I want to enjoy this game the way you guys apparently do. But I need more time than what you're willing to give me. And unfortunately, that's the one reason why it's like I haven't been wanting to play WoW. I mean, I just also can't justify spending the money on a subscription for an MMO, because, you know, MMOs require a lot of your time, and it's like, I got like a lot of other things I want to do. I don't know if I can justify sitting down playing MMOs at the moment. It's like same with like Final Fantasy 14. I got another friend pair that want me to play 14 because they're really into the new expansion. And it's like, I'd love to, but I can't justify it, and it's like, I haven't even got through, I'm pretty sure, the base story for 14 right now because I got distracted by crafting. I couldn't even tell you what I did last story-wise in that game. It's been so long. It's like they're a little bit more patient with me, and when it comes to like level scaling in general for dungeons, in 14 it's a little bit more welcoming to people who have like level gaps between them and their friends. But still, it's just like, I just can't right now. Playing WoW. No, not WoW, like the WoW from Soma. Just WoW, as in Blizzard. I mean, unless you want to consider Blizzard I wouldn't call them an AI trying to do what's best for humanity, even though it's a messed up definition of what's best for humanity. They're a corporation. They do stuff for them. They don't care about humanity. But yeah, it's like, I like MMOs. I do. Like when I was in high school, late middle school. This is before I discovered Team Fortress 2 and Half-Life 2, mind you. I was very late to the party for that one. Like I've explained before. I've told you guys the story of how I got into Half-Life and Meet the Robinsons and all that. But it's like in middle school and early high school, I played a lot of those free-to-play MMOs, those Korean-made, pretty kind of dull MMOs like MapleStory, and Fly for Fun. But it's like those could never keep my attention too long, and they were annoying. That every time you leveled up, you found yourself running back to town to get a new item for your level because you could get better armor every single level. Minorly better armor, marginally. It wasn't like super great armor, of course. And especially in MapleStory, it's like they'd have events, but even when you started up, your character could never kill the event creatures fast enough to get the drops, and even if you did, some asshole would come by and pick them up. It's like, I just sat here for 20 minutes trying to kill this thing. I finally kill it, or you one-shot it, and then you steal my drop. What the fuck? And that's one reason why I stopped playing MapleStory. And I only played Fly for Fun as long as I did. I got up to level 20 for that because at level 20, I'm pretty sure I told this story before too, but whatever. But with Fly for Fun at level 20, you got access to a hoverboard or a broomstick, and then you could fly wherever the fuck you wanted on the map. And that wore off. The novelty of it wore off really fast, because after a while, what I would do is I would fly into high level areas, you know, the level 98 trees that would kill you, and I just hover there and be like, oh, I'm not going down there, I'm only level 21, fuck that noise, and then I would just leave. That's all I would do. And then I didn't care after that, and I stopped playing. Hello, lamb meows. See, I never got into RuneScape. I had a friend, this was in like, well, I met him in 5th grade. I knew him after that, but he got really into it. And he used to have a username that referenced like his title. Ah, shit, I don't remember what it was, but apparently he had some fancy title in the game, but it's like he was really into it. And I started an account, and it's like they gave you so many different things that you could upgrade, like crafting wise. Oh, thank you, Glam Meows. That again, it distracted me how many things I could level up in RuneScape. And like I said, I got distracted by the crafting in Final Fantasy 14 that nothing got done because I was too busy trying to level up my crafting to be useful or whatever in 14. Imagine how bad it was even when I was younger, when I went into RuneScape and like, look at these 80 bazillion million things you can do. And I'm like, oh my god, how do I focus myself? I can't. I cannot? No. So, I tried. That, and also I think the graphics just weren't doing it for me. It's like, at least those Korean-made free-to-play ones had decent-looking graphics. So I'm not gonna do takedown. So I just couldn't get into RuneScape. I remember it definitely being... Shit! I keep pressing B. No. Yes. I don't know. I remember a lot of my friends playing RuneScape when I was little. I just couldn't get into it. And I think it was also in middle school, but you have to remember, in middle school, I was going fast with Sonic Adventure 2, okay? I didn't have time for RuneScape. I had child to raise, god damn it. Edwin here. How's it going lately? I lost a battle yesterday, and it's filled my thoughts. I have to devise a plan. See you. Yeah, thanks. But, yeah, I don't know. You guys might have seen it yesterday, well, the other day when I was switching around shit on my computer after Soma. I do have one MMO downloaded on there that I tried playing called Blade in Soul? I think that's what it was. Yeah, Blade and Soul. That... Again, I don't have time for MMOs, even free-to-play ones, but I only downloaded it because I wanted to play with the character creator because I saw the character creator on Monster Factory. It's like, I'm gonna try out the game. I mean, it's the same shit as any MMO. You go one area, you kill a bunch of things, you turn in the quest, and you leave. It's okay. As an MMO, well, I don't know. If you run into enemies that are lower level than you, I don't think you get experience points from them. They have to be within a certain level range in that game for you to get experience from them. So you can't grind on low level enemies at all in that game. And I found that a bit annoying. So it's like the only way to really make any progress, of course, is to do the quests and move on to the next area, but that consequentially means you don't feel any kind of attachment to that area because you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this quest and leave. It's too bad their business models always make people spend as many... Yeah, I mean, a lot of games nowadays, they use that strategy. They want people to check in, spend hours on the game, especially with the live service bullshit. And it's like, there's very few games nowadays that you can sit down and after a couple of hours actually hit credits. Now, I'm not saying that's always bad. It's like games, okay, like I know the new Fire Emblem came out. It's like that one might take a while, especially if you're like me and you want all your support levels to be at the highest because you can. I've put so many hours into that game and I've gone nowhere story-wise. But it's like, and I know I've said this before, it's like just when I played Sonic Forces the first time, it was so nice to just run through a straightforward story that wasn't open world, that I couldn't get distracted with side quests with, and actually hit credits. It's like, holy shit. I mean, the last game we played that we could do that, I mean, we just did with Soma. Like, I like games that I can actually hit the end after a couple hours. Sure, Soma took us about 10, 11 hours to get through. But it's like, even Spyro. You do the thing, it's relatively easy to hundo those ones, and you hit credits, and you're like, woo, I did the thing. Like, I don't know, I find a little bit more accomplishment in games when I can actually see the credits. It's like, yeah, sure, some of those you can go back after the credits to do them, but I'm one of those people who's like, I want to do everything before the credits, fuck it. Unless they make you see credits first, then you can go back in and do it, whatever. But it's like, I appreciate the effort put in to open world games. I do. But that's the problem. I know I've said this before. I want to see every bit of it, meaning I am going to spend a crazy amount of time running around the map doing everything. It's like with Breath of the Wild. I have all the shrines, I finished all the side quests. Now I just want to get all the Korok seeds because I'm an idiot, and then I'll go beat Ganon. I could go in there and just punch his face in, probably. I've done it before on accident. But it's like I wanna run around the world and get all the stuff that you put in here, Nintendo. I want to. Hey, Treetops was a nightmare. Don't say Spyro. Yes, it was a nightmare. It was. But it's like, that's one of those things, like, once you figure it out. It's not like once you figure out Treetops, it opens up an open world in Treetops that you have to run around for the next 50 hours. I mean, I guess that's another thing that you can say is a problem. Problem is in giant air quotes. I don't know if I'd really call it a problem. With, like, RPGs in general. It's like, those have side quests. They have character side quests. And of course there's the grind for certain bosses. There's optional bosses. There's secret bosses. There's secret items. That can just eat away your time. But that's a bit different because they're not at least old school RPGs. You don't have to worry about a studio going in. It's not like an MMO where once you finish it, the company can go in and just add an expansion pack and be like, oh shit, now I got more stuff I gotta do. When there's already like 80 bazillion things you can do, especially in something like an MMO. I don't know. It definitely depends on the game, I guess, and your tastes. Again, I'm still trying to think of like what kind of games I don't really care for. I guess I don't like driving games. I mean, if it's like NASCAR where you're just playing NASCAR, then no. I remember my cousins, because my aunt's family is really big into NASCAR, especially my uncle and my older cousin. So they would actually, I remember going down to their house and sitting there, and on their PS2 they would just play NASCAR with pit stops and everything, you know, your 500 lap races, and for hours it was the same goddamn thing. And I'm like, oh lordy, can I use the TV now? I want to play Wind Waker, please. They're like, no, we're in the middle of our race, we can't stop now. I'm like, oh no. I was one of those kids who played winnable games like open world games. Is there a JPEG of a pizza shop on the street? The characters picking up pizza on their way home from work, an arbitrary building, and saying hi to female NPC purple shirt, their best friends. Aw. But, so it's like, I don't like racing games. Okay, I guess I don't like most sports games. If it's like, you know, Madden Football 2019 or FIFA, I'm not gonna play it. I don't care about sports that much to want to play the sport in video game form. I'd actually probably rather go play the actual sport. But that's just me. Now if it's like Mario, yeah, NASCAR games and stuff like that are fun if you make huge wrecks. I remember one of my like distant cousins came over, like stayed at our house one time. He was cool because he liked Sonic. That's how we bonded, because I had a Sonic Riders t-shirt, and that's why he started talking to me, because I had my Sonic Riders t-shirt on, which I'm mad about because I cannot find it. I don't know what happened to it, and I had gotten that by pre-ordering Sonic Riders to the GameCube, and that was my favorite shirt, and it just disappeared off of the face of the planet. It was like a dark gray shirt and had Sonic Riders artwork on the front, and it said Sonic Riders on the back side, near the bottom, near the hem. My favorite shirt just poofs out of existence. And even when I look for it online, no one seems to know. Like, there's no evidence. I'm going to go look it up and see if I can find it. Like, I've tried looking for it online, and there's like no images of this shirt at all. So I sit there and wonder, like, did I just fucking imagine that shirt? I know I didn't. But anyway, this little cousin of ours, he started talking to me because of Sonic, and Shadow the Hedgehog had just come out around that time. And we had bonded because he came over and stayed for a while. It's actually funny. So a few weeks ago, if you guys remember, I went up to Canada for a family reunion. That's actually where we met him. I guess for like the first time. Like my mom was really close to his dad when they were growing up, but it's like we hadn't really met him up until that point, and he had come up to Canada with his grandparents, which are like my great uncle, great aunt, whatever, from Maryland. But we're like, oh mom, can Dougie, which was my cousin's name, it's like can he come back home with us and hang out so we can play Sonic together? And they're like, yeah, sure. And like my aunt and uncle had to write a note saying it was okay if we took him back with us across the border to Michigan to hang out. I remember it was a whole big thing. And we rented Shadow the Hedgehog. We rented Shadow the Hedgehog and I think Need for Speed 5, I don't remember. It was something like that. Need for Speed GameCube. I think it was on the GameCube. We might have gotten the PlayStation game. I don't remember. It was one of those games. I think it was Need for Speed Most Wanted. Kinda looks the same. But it's like we would just spend hours playing Shadow the Hedgehog and then Need for Speed, where we wouldn't do any of the story missions. We would just drive around the map and see how often we could get cops pissed off at us and see how we could lose them. It's Lola. Know what I'm doing today? Looking at waves from the beach. The waves are all sparkly. The sea's the prettiest from here. I'm getting hungry, so bye-bye. Thanks, Lola. But yeah, that's how we spent like the week or so that he stayed at our house, and it was great. And you know, it was just like that weird innocent thing you did in the summer when you were little. Just hung out with your cousin and you played dumb games. Like, you didn't have to beat it, you didn't have to actually play the game, you just wanted to hang out and do stupid shit in it. It's like when, I know I told this story, it's like when I went to my one friend's house for the first time. She had Grand Theft Auto on the PlayStation 2. One of the Grand Theft Autos, I know there's many on the PS2. And we spent the whole night, well, first we tried playing Kingdom Hearts, and I remember bringing this up during the Kingdom Hearts streams. It took us an hour just to get to the first title screen in Kingdom Hearts when you're on the Destiny Islands, and we're like, man, we're so bored, let's go play something else. And we started up Grand Theft Auto, and that's when I became obsessed with trying to find a helicopter. I found a helicopter once and then the game crashed and I could never find it again. But it's like we weren't there to play the games, we were just there to screw around and see what we could do. It's like whenever I played Grand Theft Auto when I was a kid, it was cheat code, tank. Let's see how long I can last in this tank before the cops come and get me. That's all I ever did. I never legitimately played a Grand Theft Auto game. I don't think when I was younger I even knew there were story missions in Grand Theft Auto. I thought you just went around and you blew shit up and you stole cars. But when you're little, that's all you need. You just need a sandbox to destroy things in. I actually found a picture of the shirt, by the way. But it's on the other computer, so that doesn't help. Sonic Gear? SonicGear.org has... Oh, okay. Wow, this website is very early 2000s looking. Sonic clothing of the USA, modern, page 11. This page should have 2010 and 2011 Sonic clothes. The USA is still in the golden age of Sonic clothing, mainly shirts. This one page is amazing. But yeah, they just have pictures of everything. Apparently they have a picture of my beloved shirt. Wait, in 2006, but this is 2010, 2011. Oh, I miss my shirt. I don't know what happened to it. It makes me think of this Togepi shirt I had when I was little. It was white and it had Togepi on it. That's all it was. It was a Togepi shirt. It's probably around when Gold and Silver came out. So it's probably like a bootleg Pokemon shirt. It was not official. I doubt it was. I remember loving that shirt, and one day it just went missing, and I asked my mom about it. She's like, I don't remember that shirt. I'm pretty sure she was lying to me. What I think happened is I got like a stain or something on it, because again, it was a white shirt. And she just couldn't be bothered to try and get the stain out and probably threw it away and told me that I either never had it or she couldn't find it and it got lost. But I remember that being another beloved shirt of mine growing up that disappeared off of the fucking planet. I wonder if something similar happened to my Sonic shirt. But I can't remember what would have happened to it. But I just know I had it one day and the next day it didn't exist and I was very sad and wanted my t-shirt back because again it was a pre-order bonus and I bothered to pre-order Sonic Riders. I'm like, heck yeah, shirt, and it disappeared. Your shirt went to live on the farm. Yeah, pretty much. I don't know, part of me though does really miss those times when you were younger and you didn't have any concept of like really beating games. Like maybe, yeah, you did beat a game here and there, but there was always that period of just like screwing around in a game, seeing what you could do in it, just actually playing the game. Or sitting down and playing games and beating them with friends. I remember one summer a friend that lived down the road, he had Luigi's Mansion and then I had Super Mario Sunshine and he would come over and we'd play those. And if we played Super Mario Sunshine, the blinds would be open. If we were playing Luigi's Mansion, you had to close the blinds. You had to make it atmospheric, right? And we would just alternate between who was playing. I don't remember if we beat those games or not. I remember that we were, I think, both playing, this might have been with a different friend, but, or was it him? We were also playing Sonic Adventure 2, and it's like we both had, well, we were having issues with some of the final bosses. I had issues, for some reason, beating BioLizard Stage 1, or just BioLizard at the end of the game. And then he had issues beating the final Hazard, which is the final boss, so BioLizard's second form. So he would beat BioLizard and then I would beat Final Hazard, and we just did this on both of our games, and you know, it was like a teamwork thing just to do the same thing twice. But it's like I miss the period of time when you could just do stuff like that where it didn't matter like what skin or something you have in a game, or if you beat it, or if you were actually good. Like before Dark Souls, when everyone just started saying, well, if you can't beat this, you're not a good gamer and you shouldn't be playing games. Like, okay, well, you're talking about Dark Souls, you can't apply that to every fucking game on the planet. Also, it's called a game, meaning I want to have fun with it, and if playing it gets me to the point where I'm frustrated and stressed. And again, we've had this talk before, there's like different types of frustration in video games. Like, I'll play Bloodborne and I'll get mad at something, but it's more like it's a positive frustration. It's like, oh, this dumb thing killed me, I gotta get back at it with a vengeance, fuck it. That's fine, but then like we've seen with me playing Crash, and I think some of the stuff in Spyro, it's like, I'm not having fun anymore, this is really stupid, I'm doing my best and it's not doing jack shit, I want to die. That's the bad kind of frustration. It's like, and again, it's different for different people depending on what they like in games. I know, Twaz, you've asked like if I think it was Crash 2 is a bad game. And it's not a bad game, it's just frustrating, and I don't like that level of frustration in my games. Some other people might flourish under situations like that. I do not. I'd rather go play anything else. I'd rather play NASCAR than Crash, because at least I could understand some of the mechanics in NASCAR. I'd like to think their programming would be solid enough. Of course, that's not always the case. I think I was watching a video on like speedruns, and it was like top 10 times crazy IAI screwed up speedruns, and this guy was playing a racing game. And in racing games, Also, I'll clarify, racing games like Mario Kart are different than like NASCAR racing games. Like character racing games where you have power-ups and it's silly and you can play as Toadstool or whatever. That's fine, because those are different than going around in a circle for 50 freaking hours or whatever. But this one guy was playing a racing game, and because he was going so fast, the game with its rubber banding, which is a system that racing games use to make sure that you don't have too much of an advantage on a computer opponent, the rubber banding caused like the computer opponent to basically appear out of nowhere and like ram into his car because of its pathfinding or whatever. So it's like, unless NASCAR has rubber banding issues like that, I'm expecting it to be a bit more solidly coded. I'm not saying Crash Bandicoot isn't coded well, it's just some of the mechanics, some of the enemy mechanics seem a little bit arbitrary from time to time, and that could just be me. Again, there's plenty of people that enjoy Crash Bandicoot, are good at Crash Bandicoot, and love Crash Bandicoot. That's fine. And even if it was a bad game, there are certain bad games, it's fine to like bad. It's like people who like so bad they're good movies. It's a matter of opinion. I think it's worse though when a game is boring, based off your personal preference, of course. You don't want to play a boring game. Kind of defeats the purpose of a game. But it's like one bad game that it's like I have like super high interest in. I suggest go watching the video on it by Mandalore Gaming. It's for Limbo of the Lost. I think that's what the game was called. It was like an old PC game. I'm gonna go look it up real quick. Limbo of the Lost. Yeah. That game is an absolute mess. But there's something about it that has a weird charm to it because of its mess. It's like, yeah, you could get frustrated with some of the buggy mechanics in it, but there's still something about it that gives you the drive to carry on. It's kind of like Deadly Premonition. Now, when we play it, we'll be playing the PC port. I do have the PS3 copy. And when it originally came out, it was on the Xbox 360? Deadly Premonition. I'm gonna go, oops, sorry, look it up. When it first came out, yeah, it was on the 360. I didn't have a 360. I don't have any of the Xbox systems just because I don't. The ports nowadays have fixed some of the issues with the game. There are still issues with it. But it's kind of a weird cult classic game because of, I guess, it has quirks to it. And those quirks have drawn people to it and they find it endearing. Again, that's one reason why I want to play it. It's like I've seen an LP of it enough. It's like I know roughly what I'm going to be getting into. But it's like I still want to play it because I actually want to sit down and experience the story and all the side quests and stuff like that, because Super Best Friends, when they go through it, they only do a handful of the side quests because they didn't want to deal with some of the weird controls. But that's stuff that we get into once we actually get into the game. I don't even remember how I got into this conversation. Either way, again, it's like how you enjoy a game is completely up to you. And if you don't enjoy a game the same way someone else does, whatever. It's similar to our discussions that we've had regarding like movies. People can like movies that are bad. People can have opinions on movies that differ from other people, but bashing on other people because of that is no bueno. No thank you. I mean, it's really hard nowadays, though, for people to distinguish criticisms towards a type of media and criticisms towards themselves. Like, people will take that critique very personally. And it's like, yeah, some people will say stuff like, oh, if you like this game, you're trash. It's like, okay, that's taking it a bit much. Oh, a bit too far. That's a bit much. You're going for spite. What does spite do? Cuts the PP of the foe's last move. No, we don't. No, it's fine. I mean, there's still a point to criticism, though. It's like, people can like bad things, but the reason why we put criticism out there, it's like, even if people like it, it's like, we deserve better than, I'm gonna maybe sound hypocritical, than trash. It's like, okay, I'm trying to think of a good... Okay, let's take Fallout 76, for example. That game's been raked over the coals many times over, and to be honest, I love watching videos raking it over the coals. It's funny to me. There are people out there who really do like Fallout 76. They like exploring the world, they actually have friends they'll play with, what have you. But it's obvious that it came out unfinished. They should have spent more time on it. It was buggy as heck, and even like the first day they had like a 50 gigabyte or whatever download patch to fix it. Your game, if it's ready for people to buy it, should not need that much fixing on the first day. And it's like, if you like it, fine. I'm glad that you were able to find enjoyment out of it. But companies shouldn't be allowed to send out broken things and be like, yeah, we'll fix it later. It's fine. Just enjoy it. Spend money on it. More money than we already charged you for, because look, we have microtransactions. It's like, I'm not saying people who enjoy it are bad. I mean, based off my track record with running around in 3 and 4, I wouldn't mind running around Fallout 76, but a lot of the issues deal with server disconnect and just how much item storage you have. That would be annoying to me. It's like, I just hear enough about it. It's like, yeah, that would probably drive me crazy. So it's like, criticizing it, even if other people like it, isn't a bad thing. It's like, say you have a favorite artist and someone critiques their thing. They're like, oh, even though a lot of people like it, they're like, no, I don't think it's that great. They're entitled to that opinion. And the artist could go and get butthurt about it, or, you know, kind of take it into consideration. Maybe it's something that they already knew that they needed to work on, or whatever, and they're still trying to improve on it. That doesn't mean the people who like it are bad. So it's... I don't know. I tend to clump movies and video games, I guess, in with art when it comes to critiquing it. Cause it's like, okay, if you like a bad thing, whatever. It's not really hurting me. I'm just saying how they could make it better next time. And maybe they should have waited to finish this game more before they gave it to people. Especially for the prices they want people to spend on it, and then the time they want people to spend on it. And the other thing is, it's really shitty when certain game publishers put out games that are unfinished, then the game does bad, and then they punish the studio for the game doing bad because they didn't let the studio finish it in time because they wanted the money now. It's like, you know, maybe if you gave the studio time to finish the thing so people would enjoy it, it would make more money. Like, they don't see the irony of some of the stuff they're doing? I don't know. but at the same time, it's like, I get it. It's hard to not take certain things personally. It's like, I've had people say, it's like, Sonic Adventure 2 is not that great. I'm like, I feel like you're wrong. I enjoy it. Okay. Like, I'll get annoyed at a person that says that. But it's like, okay, fine. I will concede. It's like, it can be buggy at times. I mean, that's how speedruns get done. It's like, the graphics aren't the best, but they're not terrible. It's like, I don't personally like Sonic Adventure 1 that much. Like, I think the graphics are terrible, and that one definitely is buggy. You know how many times I've fallen through the floor just running through that game? It's like, god damn it, Sega! Fucking fix the floor, please! But there are some people that adore Sonic Adventure 1, and that's fine. Just not my thing. And then it's fine for things to not be your thing. Let it be other people's thing. It's fine if it's their thing and it's not your thing. I don't know. If everyone likes the same thing, it becomes stagnant and boring, and who cares? Variety adds a spice to life. So let people like the things I like. I don't know. Again, we're getting into not even really philosophical things. I feel like it's kind of common sense. Like, don't go and hate people because they don't like exactly the same things you do. Also, I did save the images to tweet about the shirt, but I saved them on the other computer, and I'm not logged into my Twitter on the other computer. So that makes it difficult to tweet the images, god damn it. I'm saying god damn it to myself, not you guys. It's just because I'm ill prepared for everything, all the time, every time. Or that's how it feels. Going back to schedule stuff, though, it probably will be Deltarune then Undertale, but after that, I'm not sure. I guess it's a toss-up between Sonic Adventure 2 and Deadly Premonition. Both are going to take a while, and Sonic Adventure 2 is only taking a while because I'm deciding it's going to take a while because I can. It's my stream, and I'll cry if I want to. But it's like, if you guys want what's it called? The Twitter does not get a lot of action to it, so it's like, I don't know if it's really, if we really need to put up a poll. It's gonna be a while until we get there anyway. Because I remember even when I played through Undertale the first time, because I was taking my time through it and reading most things I came across, it still took like 12 hours? It took a while to get through it, which is fine. So it's like, that's gonna be a while just getting through Undertale. Deltarune, like I said, I've heard it takes about 5 hours or so to get through. We'll try. Oh, and when it comes to Undertale, we'll probably do True Pacifist first time around. Everyone gets to get attached to everything. If we attempt a genocide run, I don't know. Because genocide runs take an awful long time, because you gotta make sure to kill everything, and I would definitely have to pull up a guide or something, a counter, whatever. I'm pretty sure the game keeps count of everything you kill anyway, but, or maybe I made that up, I don't know. Like, I don't know if we'll do a genocide. Because once we start getting into actual bosses that are actually really hard, we could be at them for a while. I will come clean. A long time ago, well, not that long ago, but a while ago, I did actually find save files right before both the Undyne and the Sans fights. for a genocide run. Just to give them a test. Maybe to practice on them, right? Yeah, it never goes well when I try to practice with them. It's easy to get overwhelmed, and I mean, I know it's possible, but it would take me a while probably to get any kind of the hang of it. I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say, but I'm sure you guys know what I mean. If anything, we'll do true pacifists. Genocide is up in the air, depends on what you guys want. So either way, it'll be a while until we get past the Toby Fox collection, is what I'm just gonna call it for right now. We're not playing any of his ROM hacks or anything. We're only playing the 2 games, but you guys know what I mean. Heard the canon or best no murders, neutral pacifist, no mercy. When I played through it, I didn't kill anyone the first time through. I didn't get everything fulfilled for pacifists the first time through though, so it's like I had to go back and do like one thing. And it's been a while since I've done it, so that'll probably be like the same case. Either way, we're not doing a genocide run right off the bat, because we're not. So, I mean, well, okay, I haven't played through genocide, so I don't know if like neutral or pacifist is more interesting to play through than genocide is really. I know for a speed, so like the first year I went to a GDQ event, the finale game was actually Undertale, and he was doing just a pacifist run for it. In the runner, forgive me, I don't remember his name, it's been a while. But he explained, it's like, genocide runs aren't actually all that interesting when it comes to speed runs, because you can't really skip anything. You have to make sure you kill everything. So it's like you got to be thorough in that just to hit the flag to trigger it properly. I mean, he did have an incentive to fight Sans after the main run anyway, so it's like you still got to see it on stream, which was pretty cool. I think he got hit once during the Sans fight. Or it was hitless, I don't fucking remember. Again, it's been a while. That and I mean, I guess you just kind of gotta turn off your feelings. Like, I'm one of those people who's like, I don't know if I could be genocide, well, do genocide run because I like all the characters. I mean, if you just turn off that thought process, I guess you could probably get through it. But, I don't know. Like I said, that's a bit further down the road than where we are right now. And I guess we'll just see how it goes as we stroll along. Either way, like I said, next game is going to be Deltarune, because it's been out for so long and I've had it downloaded and I just haven't done jack shit with it. It's like, god damn it. It's like when I go to conventions and people are like, do you have Deltarune stuff? Or it's like, can you draw this character from Deltarune? Do you know what Deltarune is? It's like, I know what it is, I just haven't played it. It's like, and I've gotten a few sketch commissions at cons for various characters, and I'm like, the important decision is, will we date Papyrus? Oh, we'll have to see when we get there. Depends on what you guys want to do when we get there. This is a stream, it's interactive. I'm sorry, kitty. Do I keep moving my foot too close to you? Lie down, you're fine. Kind of keep forgetting my cat's under my desk. I'm not used to her being here, at least when I'm streaming. I mean, usually she's asleep on the couch or near the window or something. But right now she's like, oh, I'm gonna hang out under the desk. As long as she doesn't puke down there, that's fine. I know things are also just going to take a bit longer because we're not doing as long of streams as normal, but I hope to get that fixed soon, or at least looked into. So I'll go back to my normal 7 o'clock start time. Oh, but I'm not making any promises on when that's going to be, so whatever. So I'm trying to look at what I have installed on the other computer. It's like I'm not just limited to what's on the other gaming computer, because again, we can play anything in my... Well, if we try out the adapter for any of the old systems, I guess anything, maybe we should just stick to my computer. My capture card is in the one computer that's worrying me the most, so it's like I'd have to maybe move it over to the other computer to use it. I don't know. It's a lot of technical gobbledygook that doesn't matter right now. Everything else that I've mentioned is on the PC, so we'll just play on the PC. And even if we have to stay on PC, I got enough stuff in my Steam library to keep me occupied for a while. Which again, if there's anything you see in the list that's linked below, just say so and we can look into doing something for it. But see, this is just kind of the problem with having games that take fucking forever or are so long or open world, and I have trouble like focusing, is that they just take longer because of that, how they're structured. But I mean, there's some shorter games I think on my list. I know, well, I can't assume that like indie games or whatever are going to be shorter. Some of them can be fairly long, but I know some of them are just like multiplayer-ish games that demand more attention either way. There's some games I wouldn't mind just playing on my own because I feel like it would be more prudent for me to play them not on stream. I think that's mainly like kind of basically the RPGs. Unless people want to see the RPGs and I'll play them, that's fine. But it's like when we were playing Breath of the Wild, like I felt bad that we even did like a thing for it, because I wasn't going to play all of Breath of the Wild on stream because I just tend to play it on and off in between work when I'm sitting on the couch. So it's like with some RPGs, it's like if I'm gonna be here grinding for a while, like that's not gonna be very fun. It's like I need to sit down and finish Persona 5 still, and it's like when we were doing tests, it's like I was playing Persona 5, but I was basically just grinding and trying to get people leveled up so I'd be a bit more prepared for later bosses and what have you in that game. Because that game can be a bit unforgiving. I only say unforgiving because, like, if anything, if Joker dies, even if you have the rest of your team alive, then it's instant game over. It's like, if Cloud died in Final Fantasy VII, I'm pretty sure the game let me heal him before it kicked me out. It's like everyone had to die for it to be game over then. I mean, I guess I get it. It's the player character, and he's the one calling all the shots. But it's still, it still throws me off when I lose a round because Joker died because of some dumb reason. So here's some serious word association. So Joker makes me think of Smash Ultimate DLC characters, which made me remember that today the new character to the Smash Ultimate roster came out, which is the hero from Dragon Quest. And then sometime later this year we're supposed to be getting Banjo. Joker's not squishy per se. I mean, I haven't gotten too many game overs from him just being knocked out, really. It's just in the beginning you don't have access to too many healing items, especially for skill points. So it's like if your character gets affected by a status effect and you have a character that could heal it, if you don't have enough skill points to actually heal it, it can be kind of annoying. So it's like you can't spend, like, especially early on when it comes to dungeons, you're kind of limited in how long you can stay in there, because like once you run out of, when your party gets really low, it's best to pull out and come back the next day, especially with how the time system is structured in Persona 5. I've never played any other Persona game, so 5 is my first foray into the series, so I don't know if this is the same in like older games. But in it, because you're playing as a high school student, your day is divided into time chunks, so you know, like morning, afternoon, evening, and you have to go to bed by a certain time, because especially in certain story instances, they're like, oh, you can't do anything more for today, even if you have like the evening block open. It's like, you should just go to bed. It's like, okay, I could have used that extra bit of time to do something, but story dictates I can't. That's a little bit annoying. There's a lot of time management involved in Persona 5. So usually your first two groups of the day during any school day is spent in school. Granted, you'll get options to like raise certain attributes like intelligence or whatever based off how you perform on questions that you get asked while you're in school, but then you usually just have like I think there's 2 blocks for the evening, but it's like you can only do like one activity per those blocks. So let's say after school you want to go read in the library to raise your intelligence point up a bit because you have a test coming up, because you do have to prepare for tests. Because if you're not familiar with the storyline for Persona 5, you play as the main character who gets sent to live with like a friend of your family's or whatever because you got in trouble for attacking a guy, even though in the storyline you were stepping in to stop him from beating up this lady. But of course he held more power over you, so you get labeled a delinquent, blah blah blah, get sent away to a different school, and you're told, oh, if you don't keep up with your grades and if you get into trouble, you're out. You're going to like juvie or jail or whatever the fuck. Because the Japanese criminal system is opposite to that, well, how it's supposed to be in America. In America, it's innocent until proven guilty. In Japan, it's basically you're guilty until someone proves you're innocent, which is why you play defense attorney in Ace Attorney, because from the get-go you're if someone says that you're guilty of a thing, unless there's evidence to prove you're not, then you are. So you're playing as a high school student and you go by the school week and you have tests that you have to study for, because like, oh, if you do bad in school, then obviously you're slacking off and you're doing something shady, so guess what, you're in trouble, blah blah blah. That's what I'm assuming. I try to be on top of those things when I play through, because I don't know what'll happen if I do something wrong. And each dungeon is you have a time limit within the calendar that you have to complete that dungeon. If not, it's probably a game over. I'm pretty sure that's what it said. I'm not gonna do amnesia. So there's a lot of time management. So let's say that you spend the first 2 blocks of your day in school. Your third block, you go to the library to read. That's one of your blocks. Then you have the evening to do something. And the other character's like, oh, are we gonna go, like, try and make, Like, you progress slowly in the dungeons, because you hit save points every once in a while, and then you can make the decision to leave the dungeon there, especially if your party is low on health, and then come back the next day to make a bit more progress in it. You can't just like one-shot the dungeon. So it's like you can either choose to go to the dungeon that night and make a little bit more progress towards the end goal, because you have to get to the end and seal the treasure to finish the dungeon, and like I said, you have a time limit usually on that as well. Or you could go do something else, like do a part-time job, because you can get a few part-time jobs. And if you do a part-time job, then you get money, and then you can use the money to, you know, buy medicine. While at the same time, there are all the characters that you meet in your party, and then there's like some like non-playable characters that you meet across the story. You can spend time with them and build up a relationship with them that'll give you certain benefits. So there's a doctor, it's like you spend more time with her, she'll give you a discount on medicine, and certain types of personas that you capture will get like a boost when you merge them with other ones, because you can do like persona fusion and stuff like that as well. So there's a lot more strategy to it outside of just the normal dungeon crawling RPG stuff. And like I said, some of the story cues will take away certain bits of your time, and it's like, I was hoping I could do this, and it's interesting if you're not used to it, and I'm not used to that like format when I go in. I'm used to the RPGs where you go into a town and you can just kind of dick around until you go talk to the person to advance the story. The story in Persona 5 is like, nope, you're on a calendar, you gotta do things within a certain time frame. So it's definitely interesting, and of course going to certain places to build up certain relationships with certain characters or whatever does cost money if it's not within the range that your student train pass covers. So it's like you do need to pay attention to that. I mean, you get money from stuff that you pick up when you're in the dungeons in general, but it's like if you need extra cash, you gotta go work a part-time job, and that's a whole time block eaten up. So yeah, it's an interesting setup. I have fun with it. I just haven't touched it in a while, because when I was playing it, it was right before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, and of course that's when I was doing my Kingdom Hearts streams, and then Kingdom Hearts 3 came out and I just started playing other things. So I need to go back and actually see about I want to say finishing it, but I'm pretty sure I still have quite a while left in it. The funny thing is I still have Crash Bandicoot in my... Well, I did have Crash Bandicoot in my system. I took it out to watch a DVD the other day. But the other day when I was sitting around, I actually booted up Crash Bandicoot, and I was playing Crash Bandicoot. Not on stream, just to play. And I didn't think I would ever do that. I was actually getting some of the time trial artifacts in 3, because I guess they're a bit easier to get in 3 than in 2, and I don't even want to talk about Crash Bandicoot 1. I don't know, it was weird that I actually bothered to boot it up and play it just to play it. Especially when I have other games that I'd rather sit down and do things with. Like, I still need to go in and beat Bloodborne, and I haven't played that in forever. I showed a friend when they were over the other day just how it looks and kind of how it plays, and it's like, I didn't remember the controls for Bloodborne at all. I was like, oh shit, and I'm near the end. But I'm also in a place that as soon as I go in there, someone invades my game until I kill the stupid bell ringer, and I just don't feel like dealing with that right now. You attempted a time trial. so brave. I wouldn't call it brave. It was like a weird idle curiosity. I think it was because I was like on my home screen and it, you know, it lists like your most recently accomplished trophy on there, and I was looking through it. It's like, oh, I could probably do some of these like lesser trophies, like kill 5 enemies with Coco's spin or whatever. Like, I'll do those. And then it's like, I'll see what this time trial thing's about, and I pulled up a guide. It's like, I could maybe do some of them. I don't know. I was just trying it out. Can't really say. I don't know. I'm not the biggest person when it comes to achievements, but it's like I do like getting them, especially if it's a game I like, which makes it even more interesting that I was even trying it with Crash, because it's not particularly a game that I care much about, as we've discovered. Like I said, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to 100% the first one. The third one, maybe, because they give you enough power-ups and stuff in it to make it a little bit easier to do things in. But with, I don't remember if they give you like the same level of control in 2, but yeah, I don't know, it was interesting that I even was just playing it for fun, in air quotes. Oh, 2 more levels and it evolves. I don't know, the other day, because my little cousins came over and they wanted to play a game. They wanted to play Pokemon, but my friend was borrowing Let's Go Pikachu that I have for the Switch. And I know they'd be able to play that because you can at least run around with 2 players in it. I'd probably have to like start up a whole separate account on my Switch so they don't mess up mine, because they probably would. No offense to them, but they're little and they don't know better. But it's like I didn't have that, and I know they play Mario Kart, so I put Mario Kart in. I was like, here, play Mario Kart. Of course, the youngest got bored, and he wanted to play something else. And when they first came in, they're like, do you have... I'm pretty sure I told the story. Whatever. They're like, do you have Mario Maker 2? I'm like, no. It's like, when the fuck did they learn about Mario Maker 2? But I keep forgetting that their cousins on their mother's side have a Switch, and I remember one time we went over and they had Fortnite on. I'm like, oh no, I hope they don't come over and ask to play Fortnite, because that's never happening. Anyway, so I'm guessing that their other cousins knew something about Mario Maker 2, because I'm pretty sure those 2 cousins. So my cousin's wife, she's okay. Can't say I don't know. I'll just say she's okay. Her one sister I don't talk to her sisters all that often when they're around. But the one sister's husband is on the same level of nerd I am, so talking to him is fairly easy. And that also means his children are into nerdier stuff. I think his wife also kind of is by default too, because I remember one time we were talking about Pokemon Go, because I guess she actually plays with her kids, and then we were talking about Beyblades, because I guess her children were into Beyblade. So I'm guessing they were the ones that knew about Mario Maker, because at least their father is more in tune with that stuff than the rest of that side of the family is. Anyway, kids are asking about Mario Maker 2. It's like, no, I don't have Mario Maker 2, sorry. I was like, I have Mario Maker 1. So when the youngest started getting bored of Mario Kart, it's like, can we play Mario Maker 1? It's like, no, because then I'd have to dig out my Wii U and hook up my Wii U and do all that stuff with my Wii U. No. So I had them play Mario Kart, and then eventually they started playing with the box of Pokemon toys that I have. I use the excuse that I buy Pokemon toys for when they come over, which is partially the reason, but I also just need, I guess, a reason to buy Pokemon toys as an adult. I don't need a reason, god damn it, I'm an adult. Yeah, they were playing Mario Kart, so that meant Mario Kart was in my Switch, because I'm one of those weird people that still buy physical copies of their games, because I don't know. Downloadable games are nice, but I like having the thing on the shelf, so I like to buy the physical copy. So that meant Breath of the Wild wasn't in my Switch anymore. I was like, I'll play some Mario Kart. I sat there for 3 hours just going through like the basic level courses. Like I'm gonna get gold cup on every course, on every difficulty or whatever, because the CC is considered like your difficulty, right? So it's like I was just sitting there playing Mario Kart. Like I didn't need to. It's just Mario Kart. The only thing you really get from, I think, playing Mario Kart, because you collect coins and you unlock like more customizable options for your cart, and like that's it. I'm like, okay. I mean, Mario Kart's fine enough. I mean, I like Mario Kart. Like I said, it's one of the few racing games that I will play. But it's like and it's like with the Switch, it's like they don't have achievements, so it's weird that I'm even doing that. It's like it's same with like Breath of the Wild. It's like, oh, I want to get everything labeled on my map and find all these damn seeds, but the Switch doesn't keep track of stuff like that. So why am I doing it? Because I want to. Which should be the reason to do anything, I guess, unless it's kill someone. But that's a whole different discussion, which we're not having here. But, yeah. I don't know, it's like I try not to fall too far into the achievement hole. Well, it's not like custom carts, you just get more options for, because in Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is just the... So on the Wii U they had Mario Kart 8, and then they had DLC where you could get Link and like Isabelle and then the Splatoon kids. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch just automatic. It's like the definitive edition. But you know, you get to choose the cart body, the type of wheels on it, and then the glider. And that's like the extent of the of what you can do to customize your cart in Mario Kart. So the more coins you get, the different option you get, more options to like cart body or tires and stuff like that. And of course you can pull up like the stats screen to see what those different items affect on that particular cart. Bless you, kitty. She's been sneezing a lot lately and I don't know why. So I mean, in Mario Kart 8, when it comes to coins, when you can only collect 10 coins per race, but every time you get hit by something or you fall off the stage, you lose coins. Like Hitu actually takes like a coin charge out for saving you. It's like, okay, but he'll save you even if you don't have coins. But coins in Mario Kart, I guess, also dictate how fast you go. So the more coins you have, the faster you technically go. I think it's minimal, and I'm pretty sure that's how the mechanic works. Don't quote me on it. But you get a certain number of coins and you'll unlock something else in the game. I don't know like what the max is, but I wasn't keeping track of that. I just wanted to get gold cup on everything. I miss the days when Amazon Prime users had Twitch ads blocked. Did they take that away? I have Amazon Prime and I never use the technical free sub I get on Twitch for it because I forget that I have it, which is kind of bad. That's how they get you with subscriptions. Oh, try a free trial. Hopefully you'll forget to cancel it by the time it's over. And then you end up with it forever. I want to play Mario Kart now that I've said something about Mario Kart, but it's just playing the same tracks over and over and over again, which isn't bad, but it's definitely more of a party game. I remember when I was younger, my sister and I would just spend hours playing the balloon fight, the battle races with the balloons on the 64. I think that kind of made a return in Mario Kart 8, but I don't usually have people to play with, and playing against computers isn't as fun as actually playing it with other people, so I don't really know. Oh, another type of game that I'm not overly fond of are most fighting games. Now, I say most because there are obviously a few that I like. I like Super Smash Brothers. But that's because the control system makes sense to me. And I like Dragon Ball FighterZ. because it has a similar setup. It has like a simplified version of the fighting controls you would see in like Street Fighter or Tekken or what have you. Any games like that, so Street Fighter, Tekken, I guess Marvel vs. Capcom, any of those I don't like because I'm terrible with the controls. So like 2D fighting game. So like Street Fighter. The only kind of game that I have like that that's not Dragon Ball FighterZ is Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and I only got that because I could play as Albert Wesker from Resident Evil, and that's the only reason I got it. Because I honestly don't care. But it's like whenever they're like, oh yeah, it's like punch, kick, quarter circle back, quarter circle forward. I'm not good with the quarter circle bullshit at all. In Dragon Ball FighterZ, they simplify that a little bit, where I can actually do combos relatively often. At least the little I played of it. I'm obviously not going to get into it competitively, because fuck that, no. But it's like, some of the more complicated combos that you have to do in Street Fighter and stuff like that, I cannot do them, no matter how hard I try. For some reason, my mind just cannot process the methods of doing them properly. So I don't do well with them at all. Like with Marvel vs. Capcom, like I said, I only got it to play as Wesker. Also, it's funny because you can play as Phoenix Wright in that game, and one of his attacks is literally sneezing, and that's just amazing. But it's like with Wesker, it's like I can do most of his moves except for his like ultimate attack, even though I know I've put in the right inputs. Even when I go into training mode where they show you the inputs, it doesn't trigger. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you want me to do, you goddamn game. And no one will play it with me anyway because I can cheese people with Wesker, because he can shoot people either straight ahead or like downwards. And then he can teleport behind them and just kick them in the back of the head. So I'll just shoot someone, teleport behind them, kick them in the back of the head. Then when they move, I'll just shoot again and teleport and kick them in the back of the head. But there goes my whole strategy. I'm not good at it anyway, so it's not like anyone's gonna fight me in it, but whatever. Yes, I know Pokemon's considered fighting. Now, see, I don't know if I would like Pokken tournament or anything like that, because that's more, I've played demos of it at the store, and that's it. And that's more of a 3D fighter. 3D fighters I think I do a little bit better with, because I have a lot of like the old Dragon Ball Budokai games, where it's, okay, I guess some of those are 2D fighters too. But again, they have more simplistic control schemes that I can actually do ultimate moves with, so I don't mind them. It's like a weird half and half when it comes to fighting games. Half of them I'm fine with, the other half I want them kept far away from me because they frustrate me because I cannot do the controls no matter what I do. I don't know why. I say a lot of the Naruto games are also technically fighter games, but they're like I said, the 3D arena fighters where you could actually just run around people. And again, I can actually do the ultimate jutsus in that game pretty easy because it's usually like 3 button presses. You don't need any of that quarter back, quarter forward control stick bullshit that I can't figure out. I don't know why. So more traditional 2D fighter games I'm not good with. Those aren't my thing. I want to say I'm not good with stealth games, but the only stealth game that I've really played is Metal Gear Solid 1. I started Metal Gear Solid 2, but I never finished it because I was getting frustrated with the boss with the bombs. I panicked too much because there's a timer, I think. That and just the controls for actually shooting someone in Metal Gear. I know that's not the point of Metal Gear, you're supposed to sneak around, but it's like, okay, if you're trying to subdue someone, aiming in that game can be a pain. I think Metal Gear Solid 2 added like a first person mode for aiming though, but it's been a while since I played, so I don't fucking know. So I want to say stealth games I'm not great at. Let's go through a list of genres. Video game genre. By gender? Why is there video game genres by gender as a thing? Google. That's interesting. Okay, let's just... Plague's Tale, is that the one with the 2 kids and all the rats, or is that a different one? Because I want to play the one where you play the kids and you have to sneak through like all like those fields of like plague rats that will just kill you if you walk into them with a like light or something. That one looks interesting. Okay, let's see. Action games, platformers. I'm fine with platformers. I obviously like platformers. Shooters. I like first-person shooters. Third-person shooters, it really depends. Can't say I've played a lot of them. The only one I can say that I played is Resident Evil 2. I guess for third-person shooters are fine. I don't know if I like shoot 'em ups because I've never played too many shoot 'em ups. I guess like Undertale's dodging system has a slight hint of like shoot 'em ups, but that's just the dodging system. And just stuff I've seen regarding it looks like it would drive me crazy. We just talked about fighting games. I guess I don't like beat 'em ups. So, what's a good example of a beat 'em up? I can't say I've played many of them, but that could be why I don't. Oh, well, okay, I guess Dynasty Warriors is technically a beat 'em up. It might depend on the game. Now, the only version of... okay, this actually is different than what I thought of for beat 'em up. I was thinking something like Double Dragon. Like that side... Okay, maybe I don't like side-scrolling beat 'em ups, like the ones that you would see at arcades. I don't know, those aren't really my thing. Because like when it comes to Dynasty Warriors, now I've never actually played Dynasty Warriors. I've played Fire Emblem Warriors, and I like that. And I wouldn't mind playing Hyrule Warriors. I have the version for the Wii U, but I want the version for the Switch just because it's on the Switch, and then it would be the definitive edition. But they let me play as Zant in that one, and I'm so glad that they give my boy Zant some more limelight. Let's see. What's a... After 2000, the beat 'em up genre has seen a revival in the form of popular 3D hack and slash games in the style of Devil May Cry, including Ninja Gaiden, God of War, Heavenly Sword, Afro Samurai, and Bayonetta. Okay, so going based off that, I have Bayonetta. I really want to try it. Because I like the designs in it, even though it's crazy and over the top. Which is weird. You think that'd be why I'd want to play more of Devil May Cry. Now, I've played a little bit of Devil May Cry. It was only Devil May Cry 3, because my cousin had it, and I decided just to play it when I was at his house one time. And I didn't really care for it. Because it just felt like mindless button mashing. And I didn't like God of War the little bit I played of it either. Because it kind of felt like button mashing. That and it felt like everything hinged on like one button. At least the control setup that I was playing with. I mean, I guess Dynasty Warriors functions the same way. I guess it depends on the game. Beat 'em ups, I guess, are neutral for me. Survival games... rhythm games are okay. But again, those get repetitive. I can't say I'm the biggest into rhythm games. They're on the low neutral to nah, I'd rather not scale. I have a scale apparently now. I need examples of Survivor games. Terraria, Starbound, Don't Starve. Okay, I guess I like survival games. I like them when I don't have to play them with people. Because I know some of them, they want you to play with other people. I mean, I guess Minecraft's more of a sandbox game. It has some survival elements in it though. And I really do like Don't Starve, even though that game is super unforgiving. But I enjoy playing it. And that game's a lot of fun if you have a friend, if you can like delegate roles to each other so you can prepare a bit better. It's still very frustrating because some of the enemies, you'll prepare all fucking summer, then winter comes around and the stupid deer clops comes through and ruins all your shit, and then you want to punch it in the face, but you can't punch it in the face because it destroyed all your fucking weapons. Or fucking lightning hits and everything burns to the ground. Obviously, I have some stories to tell when it comes to Don't Starve. And even though it gets frustrating, I still do enjoy that game. Action adventure. Survival horror. Well, action adventure I guess I like. I kind of glump those in usually with... Well, I mean, okay, I guess those are like Zelda. Yeah. Metroid and Final Fantasy are... Oh no. That's inspiring action adventures like those. And RPGs like Final Fantasy. Action adventure I'm fine with. Survival horror I'm fine with, even though I can be a big chicken. I've discovered a love for Metroidvanias lately after playing Hollow Knight. I didn't think I would... Like, I've seen enough people play Castlevania and Metroid, and I'm like, I don't know if I would care for that. How are you supposed to know where anything is? In Castlevania, I've gotten more interest in after watching the show. But after playing Hollow Knight, it's like, actually, I like this format. I would play more of it. So that's been bumped up higher on my list of games I would like to play. In terms of genre. Adventure games. I can't say I've ever played any adventure games. I remember my cousin playing Myst when I was little. But it always gave me spoopy vibes, and I didn't care for that. Maybe nowadays I would like it, even though the older graphics would increase the spook factor for me. So I don't know how I feel really when it comes to like adventure games. Cause like same with like text adventures. Can't say I've actually played any of, well, I've played one, I think. I remember a long time ago, one of the elementary schools in the town I grew up at was selling their old computers that were just black screens with green text, and one of them had like an adventure game disc with it, and I remember not knowing what the fuck I was doing, so I didn't do much with it at all. Graphic adventures. At least a point and click. Point and clicks are fine. Can't say I've played a lot of them, but I wouldn't mind if I had to. Visual novels. I haven't played many of those. Apparently the Ace Attorney series is considered a visual novel, so I guess I'm fine with it. I consider that like, I consider, when I think Ace Attorney, I think mystery. But mystery isn't really like a genre when it comes to like a video game. That's just like a genre when it comes to story, and that's different. So if it means like Ace Attorney, then fine. Interactive movie. A few adventure games have tried to use the term to liking the storytelling of their games to those in movies, most notably the later Tex Murphy games and the more recent Fahrenheit/Indigo Prophecy. Oh, so like Heavy Rain? Fine. It depends. I only like stuff like Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls because I like the weird memes that come out of it. Elements of interactive movies have been adapted for game cutscenes in the form of QTEs. I don't know if that's really a, real-time 3D adventures. Let's see, RPGs. Obviously, I'm good with RPGs. Action RPG. Can't say I've played many in terms of action RPG. I might be okay with them. MMOs I'm fine with. Roguelikes are fine. Tactical RPGs. What's an example of a tactical RPG? I need an example. Wait, isn't Fire Emblem kind of like a tactical RPG? A little bit. Can I just get a list of... I just need a list of games with names that I can read really fast and say, yeah, sure. I guess tactical RPGs are fine. It's really... I get why there's sub-genres to big genres, but it's hard if I don't have like a quick to go to example. Sandbox RPG. Yeah, those are fine. I like my sandbox RPGs apparently. First person party based RPG, also known as a DRPG, a dungeon RPG. Games of this type are also known as blobbers, since the player moves the entire party around the playing field as a single unit or a blob. Okay. Can't say I've played any games like this, even though one that's listed I think is in my collection. I might have just bought it for... I don't know why I bought it. Cultural differences... Okay, this obviously isn't a sub-genre, it's just talking about the differences between RPGs here in the States and like JRPGs. Whatever, moving on. Simulation games. Construction and management simulation, which I guess is like SimCity. City building games. I've never played SimCity, so I don't know. I've played Civilization 6 recently. I'm fine with it. I don't play them a lot because I've discovered I will black out and play it for 12 hours straight and not get anything done because I'm just gonna sit here and play this forever. So I guess I like them, I just choose not to play them too often because they are a major time sink for me. And I can't just be randomly losing 12 hours to Civilization 6. Life simulation... Is that like just the regular Sims? Yeah, I guess kind of like Sims or Spore. Those are fine. I tend to get bored with The Sims relatively fast. I know we talked about it. It's like unless you make up interesting things to do with your Sims, like just watching people do stuff can be kind of boring. It's like I said, in Sims 4 I made myself and my character just works at her computer all day and never leaves her house. I'm like, okay, too close to real life. Vehicle simulation. I'm going to... well, it depends. If it's a racing game, depends on the racing game. If it's a flight simulator, no thank you. If it's a realistic vehicle simulation, probably not my thing. I can see why some people like them. Not me. Strategy games. Oh, okay. This one actually covers Civilization. So, a 4X game refers to a genre of strategy games with 4 primary goals. Explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate. Yep. That's why I sat there and played Civ 6. I just wanted to be, you know, a decent civilization. I did nothing to most of the countries around me, but they're the ones that started having issues with how I ran my country and what I made. they kept having beefs with me, so they had to go. There was a point where they tried getting like the UN or whatever to like sign I guess I'm a dictator in Civ 5 or 6. Because they tried getting the UN to like make my actions illegal, but they couldn't outvote me because I guess I had majority vote anyway. I don't remember. It was a very weird time for me with my first adventure into Civ 6, okay? So I guess 4X games I'm fine with, I just avoid them. Our artillery game. Tanks fighting each other in combat or similar derivative games. Can't say I've ever played them, so I don't know if I like them. Real-time strategy. I've never played a RTS game. I know Pikmin's technically one. So I don't know. Neutral on that. Real-time tactics. I'm going to put a neutral on that. Can't say I've ever played a real-time tactics game. MOBAs. I've played a few MOBAs. I've played Heroes of the Storm, and that's it. So I've played one MOBA. My bad. It's fine. MOBAs are fine. I'm not good at them, though. And I only played Heroes of the Storm because they were doing a crossover event with Overwatch, and it was the only way to get the Police Diva skin, and that's all I wanted. They're okay. Not really my thing. Tower defense. I can't say I've played a video game that I've bought that's a tower defense. I like the idea of tower defense if it's like a free-to-play flash game on my computer. I remember playing one that was like Pokemon Tower Defense, if I remember correctly. But I can't say I've played a more serious tower defense game. Turn-based strategy. Apparently Civ is also in turn-based strategy. Advance Wars, never really played Advance Wars though. I've heard of it, that's it. Neutral for turn-based strategy. Turn-based tactics. Tactical role-playing game. Examples of the genre include Wars, Jagged Alliance, and the XCOM series, as well as tactical RPG games, RPGs such as Fire Emblem. Well, okay, I guess I like Fire Emblem, so turn-based tactics are fine. War games, can't say I've ever played with those. Grand strategy war games, can't say I've played that, unless Civ's also under that. Sports, racing. We've already covered racing, depends on the game. If it's Mario Kart, probably. If it's like character racers, I'm more open to them than if it's more realistic. I don't care too much about realistic cars, I guess. Sports games, if they have a twist to them. Again, I don't really care too much when it comes to the realism. So like the Mario versus Sonic, or Mario and Sonic at the Olympic games, those I find fun, just because they're characters that I know and they're doing Olympic events and I find that funny. So, yeah, if it's something like that, sure. Wii Tennis, fine. Competitive. What? Games that have high competitive factor but does not represent any traditional sports where the concept is fictional, designed by the developer, e.g. ball jacks. I don't know what that means. We're just going to move past that. Sports-based fighting. Sports-based fighting games are titles that fall firmly within the definitions of both the fighting game and sports game genre, such as boxing and wrestling video games. Yeah, no. I'm not into like wrestling like WWE or anything like that, so the games by proxy fall to the wayside when it comes to my interest and attention. If you're into wrestling, fine, I just don't really fully get it myself. I like some of the memes, I guess, but that's where I sit. MMO, but you already had MMO. Oh. Wait, is there a difference between an MMO and an MMORPG? A Momorpga? As Yahtzee would call it? Apparently there's a difference. I just kind of lumped them in together. most MMOs seem to be RPGs. I guess not all RPGs are MMOs. Oh, okay. Minecraft can be played as an MMO or a single player game. But you could also kind of say Minecraft is an RPG if you want to roleplay in Minecraft. I know it's 10 o'clock, but we're gonna go until we get Numel here evolved, is why I haven't stopped. That I'm still going through this list. Casual games. Casual game. What? I'm gonna read this. Casual games are designed to be easily picked up and put down again, allowing for potentially short bursts of play. So like on a phone, I would assume. Such as Call of Duty in most games on a mobile platform. Wait, why is Call of Duty in this list? I wouldn't call that, well, not with the way people act when it comes to Call of Duty. This genre of gaming is meant to be short and relaxing pastime. You're not playing Call of Duty for a short and relaxing pastime. If you go into COD, you're gonna get called names and told to kill yourself by 12-year-olds. That is not relaxing. Lies. Who wrote this? This is what I get for reading stuff on Wikipedia. A rest in between other occupations, and so is the most popular with demographics who have less free time. For this reason, the games often have autosaving and syncing as standard, so the games can be minimized, put into sleep, or otherwise put down with no loss to the player. Well, I wouldn't consider... Well, you could maybe call Breath of the Wild casual. I'll play that for a spell, put it to sleep, let it charge, and go do something else. I don't like this definition of casual games. If it was like word cookies, fine. Market leaders in the genre are often boldly colored, designed for intuitive interaction, and have a high balance of reward to time to keep people coming back. Designers of these games should add a lot of juice, sound and motion elements that excite the senses to make them stand out in a sea of highly similar games. Yeah, so like word cookies or Candy Crush. I tried playing Candy Crush there for a spell. I got bored of it really fast when the only way you could clear missions was if you had the power-ups, and of course you could only get power-ups if you paid real money. It's like, fuck this noise, I'm out. Party games. Party games are fun if you have people to play party games with, because you're probably not going to be playing party games alone. I mean, we used to play a lot of Mario Party 4 on the GameCube. Mario Party 4 is on the GameCube, right? Did I just make myself look like an idiot? Mario Party 4. Yeah, on the GameCube. I remember playing a lot of Mario Party 4, but again, those are meant for when you have friends over. Party games are fine if you have people to play them with. Programming game is a computer game where the player has no direct influence on the course of the game. What? Instead, a computer program or script is written in some domain-specific programming language in order to control the actions of characters, usually robots, tanks, or bacteria, which seek to destroy each other. In Space Chem, for example, players design circuits used for creating molecules from raw materials. Final Fantasy XII also includes some elements of a programming game as the player creates the AI of his characters, although the player can also... I don't know if this is really a genre. Why is this here? Logic games. Puzzles. Now, is this the same as puzzles or puzzle? Okay, like Tetris. Tetris is fine. Oh. Yeah, casual is too broad. It really depends. Like, I can play Sonic Adventure 2 casually. Trivia games. Trivia games I will lump in as party games. Again, they're only really fun if you have other people to play against, so whatever. Same with board and... Well, okay. No, I'm going to resend that. Board or card game. Now, this really depends. If it's a realistic... Well, I don't know. You can play virtual chess against a computer and just get pissed off that it keeps beating you. Magic the Gathering as computer versions, yeah. I know some of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Video games are popular. The only Yu-Gi-Oh! Game I played had pieces that you moved across the board, and I remember I was one of those weird kids. I got out a chess set and I would label each piece as what character it was to try and strategize, even though I think part of it was a bit of RNG on how fast they moved. There are plenty of solo board games out there too now. When it comes to whether or not I'd play them, maybe. It'd probably be easier to play with an actual person. It's weird because it's like for a while there I did have Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links on my phone, which was Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG on your phone. But it's like I only ever played against the computer. It's fine if you could play against the computer. I don't like playing against people on, like, okay, Pokemon TCG actually had like a computer program you could get, and you could play either the computer or play against people also logged in. But they would have you would get code cards in the actual card packs to unlock more cards in the digital version. And playing on it against computers, you could earn gems to buy packs in the game. I would be fine against like expert level computers, but as soon as I went up against an actual person, I floundered. I don't know. My enjoyment of TCGs is a bit weird nowadays, because I used to try and get into more competitive Pokemon TCG stuff, but we've had this talk before. When it comes to the meta game, it just got so repetitive and boring that I just didn't want to do it anymore. So it depends on if I'll play a video game of a board game or a card game. I mean, I don't usually have anyone to play chess with me, so I guess having a video game where I can play chess if I wanted to would be fine. I have a chess set. I have a Team Fortress 2 chess set. No one will play it with me because no one likes chess. Idle gaming, like Cookie Clicker. Yeah, no, thank you. No. That's where I'm leaving it. Video game genres by purpose? Oh boy. Why is puzzle... I mean, I guess I like puzzle games. I'm obviously a fan of Portal. I didn't see a genre for it. I don't think this Wikipedia article is the best breakdown of genre, to be honest. Adver game. Oh, an advertising game. For some reason I shortened that from down from adventure game. So advert game like Pepsi Man. I would play Pepsi Man because it's Mimi. I mean, I did play some advert games. I guess that's what they're calling them. Sounds dumb. I played the Captain Crunch one. If you've seen the JonTron video about like advertisement-based video games, he mentions this one. It was like a CD you got in Captain Crunch, and you raised this little fuzzy thing called a crunchling. I remember actually spending quite a lot of time playing that when I was little. It's not that engaging though, so it's not like I'm going to go back and play that game anytime soon. Art game. Art games are designed so as to emphasize art, or whole structures are intended to produce some kind of non-ludological reaction in its audience. Art games typically go out of their way to have a unique, unconventional look, often standing out for aesthetic beauty or complexity in design. Example? Can you use it in a sentence, please? Is this like an art installation game? I need an example. The following list is a collection of examples of video games described as art games or art house games by game designers or critics. Alien Garden. Haven't heard of it. Deus Ex Machina? What? I don't know what this means, so I'm just going to move past it. Okami is considered an art game. Is it just a game that has a specific art direction to it? I guess Passport... I don't know if Passport 2 counts as an art game as they're defining it. I think they're basically talking about games that actually have like an artistic design to it instead of the same usual realistic style. So let's say Like, cause come on, I could say Beautiful Joe is an art game because they do something different with structure. You could call probably Deadpool an art game because doesn't he do stuff with like the UI bars? I know in Marvel vs. Capcom, one of his attacks was actually picking up the health bar and attacking the opponent with it, which is pretty fucking funny. That's a very broad term for a... I don't know if that's really a genre. Again, these are video game genres by purpose. Casual game, again, very broad concept, depends on the person. See, when I think casual game, though, I guess it's more like phone games. Like Farmville. I played Farmville for a time. I had a friend who was super obsessed with Farmville that he had spreadsheets for like fruit and vegetable yields from his trees. It's like, alrighty, I'm just gonna step away from that now. Christian games. Well, okay. I probably don't play many Christian games. So no. Educational games. I don't play those anymore. Certain games can be educational, I guess. Even if they're not intended to be. I remember when school would have... They had this one education game that I never got a chance to play, but I wanted to. Your spaceship was filled up with sand, and you had to, like, do challenges to get power to vacuum up the sand out of the engine. Hold on. Educational game. Sand. Engine. I don't remember what it's called. Yeah, looking it up the way I did was not going to help me. I don't know, I just remember that that was the popular thing when I was in like 4th grade or something, I don't remember. Esports. I'm not getting into esports because reasons. I just don't have time for it. Exergame. An exergame, portmanteau of exercise and game, is a video game that provides exercise. So like Wii Fit. Of course, then you could go and say that the rhythm game DDR is an exergame because you're moving and kinda technically burning calories, I guess. Personalized games. Oh, create it for one specific player or a group of players, usually as a gift. Why is this on here? Serious game. Serious games are intended to educate or train the player. These games tend to promote education, science, social change, healthcare, or even the military. Those are in quotes. Why? Some of these games have no specific ending or goal in the game. Rather, the player learns a real-life lesson from the game. Okay. This Wikipedia article that we just spent 20 minutes reading, I think is useless. ID Tech, ultimate list of different types of video games and their subgenres. Let's see if this one helps. Action games. Okay. Platformers, yes. Shooters. Yeah, sure. Fighting, depends. We're just gonna do this really fast. Beat 'em up. Depend, maybe? I'm gonna say depends. Stealth, depends. Survival, sure. Rhythm, not my thing. Survival horror, sure. Metroidvania, sure. Adventure games, text adventures, not my thing. Graphic adventures, point and clicks basically, sure. Visual novels, sure. Interactive movies. Dragon's Lair is considered to be a prime example of an interactive movie. Sure, then. Of course, that's also me just being biased because Dragon's Lair has 2D animation in it. Real-time 3D. Shenmue and Heavy Rain. Sure. Role-playing games. Action RPG. They keep saying like Diablo, and I've never played Diablo, so I can't really say. Morpagas, sure. Roguelikes, sure. Tactical RPG. This is the same fucking list. Just they've written out the descriptions a bit better. Tactical RPG. Sure. Sandbox RPG. Yes. First person party based RPG. Maybe? Actually, this feels like just a copy from the Wikipedia article. Life simulation. Yeah, sure. Vehicle simulation. Not my thing. 4X games like Civilization. Sure. Artillery. I'm gonna say no. Real-time strategy. Nah. Real-time tactics. Sure. MOBAs. Not my thing. They're fine. Tower defense. Eh. Can't say I've played a lot of them. I don't mind them. Turn-based strategy. Sure. Turn-based tactics. Sure. Yeah, this is pretty much a copy of the Wikipedia article. That's not helping me at all. Whatever. Make a list at some other point and just post it somewhere. Not that anyone really cares. I'm up to trying anything once. And it really also... A Souls-like? You mean? What about the Dark Souls genre? I like Dark Souls. Oh, well, I mean, I like Bloodborne. So sure. Why haven't we rolled over to 33 yet? Because you're too busy reading definitions of video game genres, dummy. I know! Stop telling me the truth. Make a list. Yay! Evolution time. Yay! We did it! 2 hours well spent. Oh, rock slide. Ah, oh, crap. What do I... I just focus energy. I guess when it comes to games, like, even if... Because some games have, like, multiple genres anyway. And it really depends on the game. Because what's Crash considered? That's considered a platformer, right? And I don't enjoy it. Really. But I like oops, sorry, I keep punching the mic. But I'm usually fine with most other platformers, just not that one. From pool floaty to double volcano. Double volcano doesn't roll off the tongue as well as double rainbow. Anyway, we're gonna save for now, call it for the night. I'm hungry anyway, so I'm gonna go grill me up a chicken. Not a whole chicken, a chicken breast. And we'll be back Friday. Where we'll be starting Deltarune. I will put up an updated schedule soon. Even though I'm usually actually bad at getting that up when I say I'm going to. I do have like an art thing I need to work on. I'm actually going to be I'm working on an entry for a Pokemon NPC zine, and they were asking for like a status update today, and I haven't started it exactly yet. So I need to go do that tonight, as well as just other work stuff. Nah, you're not a terrible person, Danny. No, I'm not grilling up a live chicken. I'm grilling up a already dead processed chicken boob. Chicken breast. But yeah, we'll be back on Friday with Deltarune. So that should be fun. Thanks guys for tuning in. I will see you on Friday. And yeah, this intro is terrible. I need to come up with a better intro. Anyway, have a good night everyone. It was fun. Alright, see ya. Bye.